are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media, and we are finally, for the briefest of times, because this might even be a brief show, because True is headed back outside. We have been the two most back outside wrestling podcast show hosts in possibly world history. I don't know if Cam technically still calls himself a wrestling podcast host. I don't know. But other than that, we have been so outside. It's almost been a month since we've been able to get together to do one of these. And that's why this isn't your average wrestling podcast. True, man. I need, we should do a definitive study and try to figure out, because I'm starting to doubt. I'm starting to think pretty strongly that most wrestlers should just stay off fucking social media. I would love to do a definitive study on how many of them it helped. Like, oh, I didn't know who that guy was, but then I see him on social media a lot, and I see their social media game, and it made me want to check them out, made them more popular. Alex Kane is pretty legit on social media. DM Kiddo is pretty legit on social media. There's a few who are pretty fun on social media, but there are so many more who just, man, I used to think we used to be very complimentary of FTR. We used to be very, very supportive of their style and the stuff that they do. And it ain't just Dax. It's so many of these guys show themselves to be exactly what we've said so many times, that they are Revenge of the Nerds, that they, even though, well, some of them get in the gym and build their bodies up, but even though on the outside, they're all built up, on the inside, they're all still just those little creep, thin-skinned goofballs that they were when they were getting stuffed in lockers when they were in high school. It has not done anything. All of your heroes get exposed as being fake and people who were just picked on when they were younger, and now they've been able to disappear and remake themselves into what they want to be in their mind. But deep down, they all still show themselves to be fucking losers. Such was the case this week, as our humble podcast and our not so humble co-host True rubbed up against one of these people, Dax Harwood, who needs to get the fuck off of Twitter fucking forever, because every single time it seems like I see him pop up into something, it's him crying about something, or him getting fucking tough with somebody online, or him making fun of a fan's fucking looks. That was just a week ago. As somebody who has been on here crying like a bitch about how people used to make fun of him because he was a soft fatty once upon a time, now he wants to jump on here and sick a bunch of people on somebody else and make fun of them for their looks. All of this overly, oh, I'm such a great guy, I'm so this, I'm so that. It was so over, that brought my red flag up. That popped my antenna right off the bat. Whenever people are like that, it's because they're really little shit stirrers, and they're fucking fake behind all that sheen of fucking niceness and what the fuck ever. And that's very fucking clear, because this dude cannot come onto fucking social media and not completely act a fucking fool and like a hypocrite and engage in the same behavior that he did all that fucking crying about that people used to do to him. And he turns around and does the exact same shit to people online. Dragging our guy True and his situation into it, while admitting in his post he has no fucking idea what he's talking about, but then still actively makes it more difficult for this guy True, a guy who the company this dude works for and supposedly has some sort of sway with, fucks our guy, has him on the verge of homelessness for months, fucks him out of money. Now you want to go out of your way to make it harder for him to get help. Well, you tried to do that, but then when you made your post, it was 99% people rightfully frying you the fuck up in your own comments on your own fucking post, because people see through you because you're a fucking loser at heart. And that hurts to say because I was a big fan and we like a lot of the same wrestling. But goddamn, get your shit together, man. Maybe lay off that tequila a little bit. The way you fucking act, very reminiscent of somebody who will hear about checking themselves into someplace someday. Fucking clown. Get it together. Drew, go ahead.
You know, if you're listening to this, I want you to clip what's about to be said. I want you to post it on Twitter. I want you to post it on Instagram. I want you to send it directly to Dax Harwood via phone, because I know several people who listen to this have his phone number. So I want to say this first to clarify. I am a big fan of FTR as professional wrestlers. I think FTR is the best tag team in AEW. I have said that on a number of occasions. I think FTR is the best tag team. I've defended Dax when people who work for other prominent brands in professional wrestling called him a Nazi, a racist, this, that, and the other, said he's a pedophile, all these weird things that they said about him. And he in turn goes back and forth with them and jokes with them and has communication with them. He hasn't blocked any of those people. In fact, he promotes that brand actually and retweets and says all of that. I think that's a weird thing. I would never be cool with somebody who said I was this, I was that. I had people lie on me 20 times over in these last couple of months, and I'm not cool with any of them. Fuck them, and I hope they all burn in hell. That's how I feel about it, and I want to be very direct. I don't have that same feeling for most of the people that work in AEW, regardless of the situation or regardless of whatever this is. I don't have that feeling. I have a lot of love for people in AEW because there are some great people in AEW. My issue starts very much at the top. Not with the workers, it's with the quote unquote boss. And I say quote unquote because is that really the boss? We don't really know. You're just a guy with money, right? You're just a guy with money. So, and a guy who flaunts his wealth, but doesn't want to pay certain people. Okay. I mean, maybe if I did flips, maybe if I did, rolling elbows, maybe I could get some extra bread from out of Mr. Whatever his name is. I just think Dax Harwood, whatever it was, I think somebody posted something under a Dax Harwood post a while ago. And I believe that because I was tagged in it, I was blocked because of that. I thought, seeing what the tweet was, I remember vaguely who it was from. And it's one of our followers, one of our listeners, I believe. And they were like, hey, man, Dax, man, our guy's going through some stuff. I think they quoted one of my tweets and was like, hey, he's going through some stuff, man. Like if you could pass the word along, like tell your boss or something. And I looked up and I went to click on something. I was like, whose tweet is this? And I clicked on it and I was like, I'm blocked. And I was like, who is that? And I went on another account and I was like, that's Dax. I'm like, the fuck Dax blocked me for it? Like, Dax? Like, I always talk well about FTR. Always have talked good about FTR. And so I took that personal because I'm like, dude, then I don't want to call this person out, but I'm going to call him out too. Somebody else did the same thing to another person that worked in AEW, and Stokely Hathaway blocked them too. And I guess he had me blocked at one point or something. I'm not blocked anymore. So maybe somebody filled him in on what's happening or what happened. I don't know. But when that happened, I was like, why are y'all blocking me? I didn't say nothing disrespectful to y'all. Like people, I mean, I get people are adding you like, hey, this is seriously, could you share it? Could you help? This is whatever. Mind you, in my post, I don't even talk about AEW when I post about my situation like that. I barely even talk about them. I left it alone because those are situations I have to handle in a much different way. And that's a whole different conversation. But I try to stay out of that. Dax Harwood goes on these rants about how he pays artists and he takes care of artists. And that could very well be true. I don't know every single artist. And because I don't know every single artist, I can't say whether that's true or not. I just thought it was funny that you saw somebody in a similar situation who's an artist and you blocked them. And then fans of AEW were like, oh, if you search your name, on his account, he's got a couple of disparaging comments. He's like, he was probably rude to me. And I was like, bro, you ignore all them other times I was like, yo, y'all the best, yo, you dope. You never replied to me on, you know what I'm saying? You never replied to me on nothing.
I will say that's funny real quick because, like, there's people, the 2 or 3 out of fucking hundreds of people in there trying to fucking lick ass where, oh, this guy's so obsessed with you. Look at all the times he mentioned you. He's a fucking wrestling commentator. We make wrestling content, you fucking idiot.
Idiots.
Fuck you. There's people in there. Our girl CM Venus was in there fucking straightening people out. Thank fucking goodness. There's people in there. Does this guy even make art? What does he even do? Like, if you don't know shit, then they don't say shit.
And shut
It's
the fuck up. That's it. Simple. It's simple. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. I don't know how
some of you make it through life, man. You just cannot help yourself but to blurt some stupid shit out. You come walking into situations that you ain't fucking built for.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I know who y'all think y'all are. This goes for all of you. I know who you think you are. You're not that. I know who I am. I've been this way for a long time. See, a lot of y'all knew. See, a lot of y'all are new. I'll be fair. My co-host at one point was very new to what we do here at DAR. And now he's acclimated. We are family, and he understands. But a lot of you don't know my origin, my background, my roots. Now that everybody is up to speed, I am not an obsessed fan. I'm somebody who's worked in this business probably just as long as Dax had worked in this business. I'm not a wrestler, obviously. The company that gave his tag team partner a big chance before he was prominent, I was the right-hand man to the owner of that company. I helped put together matches and book. You don't know that because as it goes in this business, unless you're outwardly loud about your accomplishments and what you've done, you don't get credit for them. So now that's why I won't shut the fuck up about what I do, because I've been through this before. So that's to put you up to speed on why these things become public, why these things are so loud, is because I was an artist that did music for an independent company that I did work for. I did music for Ring of Honor that they never used in 2016 and 2017. They were supposed to pay me for that. I brought that up years ago. These are things that have happened. You wouldn't know that because I was like, water under the bridge. I left wrestling alone. I was just like, I'll be a fan. I don't want to work in this business. I came back to work in this business because AEW seemed like something different, something special, something new, something fresh. They supported the artists. They supported wrestlers. And I'll say this. The opportunities that I've been afforded in this business are because I'm talented enough to be here. I didn't have to be anybody's partner, anybody's best friend, anybody's anything to get a job working at the company. I didn't have to kiss nobody's ass. The situation was very simple. People told AEW, yo, you need True on whatever y'all do. And guess what? They agreed. And many people agreed with them. And what did we do when we got to AEW? We made great fucking content with very limited resources, I might add, especially the Commander theme, because I did that on the same phone that I am using now, with the same headphones that I am using now that are hanging on by a thread. When you talk about somebody who will hustle and put it together, that's what I do. So for people who like, is this guy obsessed? This guy obsessed? No, I'm a worker. I'm a hustler. I've been there. You don't know that because you ain't got no hustler spirit in you. And Dax Harwood, you are a good wrestler. You a hustler, bro. You a hustler, brother. I'm not disrespecting your craft. Same way you shouldn't disrespect anything else if you don't know what's going on. And like I said, I have said a lot of things about you ever since you blocked because I think you're a bitch for that. I think you're a bitch for that. Instead of reaching out and being like, hey, bro, I saw the situation. What's going on? I could have talked to you personally if you felt that way. You blocked it because I feel like there's conversations that have been had privately. Because guess what happened? Around that same time you blocked me was the same time my vocals were taken off of the record and the record was changed. So if that's the case, something is missing. It don't add up. It don't make sense. So like I said, I do think you a bitch now. And I think you a bitch for saying what you said and how you said it. You don't know anything about that situation, but you blocked me. And your whole company said, we got to take this guy off because too many people are trying to get him help. Why would you do that? Someone in my situation, why would you do that? What's the reason behind that? If you really care about artists, we could really open it up and talk about artists who work for your company that have said they had their publishing taken, they've had money put out their pockets, artists who were struggling with their own homeless situation for a year, and now all of a sudden they're back with the company. We could talk about that, but I'm not going to get into that because that's those people's story to tell, and I can tell you one of those people are not going to tell that story because they have a section on merchandise sites. But shake the table a little bit. But that's the facts, Dax. That rhymed. That's a good rhyme. That's the facts, Dax. You don't know anything. All you know is I'm a Southern guy. I go out there, I fight for my family, and I respect that about you, brother. As a father, I respect that about you. I respect that. You're supposed to go out there and do what we can for our families as best we can. You have been afforded a lot of success in your life and you worked hard to get there. But let's not forget a year ago, you wouldn't shut the fuck up about how you didn't like stuff in AEW yourself. Before you signed that old fat contract, you was running your fucking mouth. So let's be clear, brother.
Podcast that lived, grew, and died because of it.
Exactly. So all the stuff that you're doing, the ass kissing, I love Tony Khan. Tony Khan's the best. If CM Punk would have jumped ship to WWE in 2023, well, earlier in 2023, y'all would have went with him. Y'all would have went with him. And I guarantee you this. There's a lot of people on that Punk side of things that have heard things and they agree with a lot of things I said. And they don't doubt the things that I've said. I've pulled receipt after receipt after receipt. I could pull more receipts, but it's like, what good does that do? I'm not here to defame anybody. I'm just a brother trying to survive who also just wants to be done fair. Everything to be done fairly and done right. And if it's not just for me, it's for other people that you work with. Because trust me, when I put my tweet out the other day about companies not taking care of their artists and some of their workers, some of those artists replied under that tweet with eye emojis. Why is that? And it's not just your company. Let me be clear. It's not just AEW that's fucking over artists. WWE has a history of fucking over artists. And maybe that's changed now, but they definitely have a history of taking people's money, from them, and then like, hey, we want to work with you, but you can't write your own stuff. That's happening. Other independent, smaller companies have fucked over artists because wrestling does not care about artists that make the music, that do the t-shirts designs. Oh yeah, that's right. A t-shirt design just dropped that was AI. That's right. You're not even giving artists opportunities to make your t-shirts because you're going to use AI, artificial intelligence technology to do it when you have artists. If you are a company that is the quote unquote good guys, I'm not such a bad guy after all. If that's what you're about, brother, take care of the artist properly. Don't just pay $6 million to this girl that you think is an amazing wrestler because she is an amazing wrestler. Don't just pay $4 million to this guy from Japan. What's wrong with giving the artist that worked hard $20,000 here to $30, paying them because you're going to make all of that back on that merchandise, on that music, all that. You're going to make that back. What's wrong with you taking care and compensating your artists? You can't flaunt your bankroll. You can't flaunt your money. We'll never run out of money. Oh, yeah, we got this. We got that. What's the point of flaunting that if you're going to leave people hanging who have been very much respectful and loyal to the company and ride with that company for years? But it's like, if that's the only way you look out for people, as if they kiss your ass, then that says more about you than that says about anything else. You use AI art. You fucked over artists. You have a wrestler that people said, hey, there's some allegations about him. And there's some things that people were like, instead of putting that person on a back burner like you've done other people, good wrestlers, good people, you gave this motherfucker a new gimmick and are forcing these segments every fucking week. So much so that I'm not watching the show like that because I don't care about a fucking learning tree. I don't care about this shit. A lot of people don't care. And now I know you AEW fans, I think it's actually pretty ironic and funny. Shut your bitch ass up. Like, stop. You will like anything they give you. Like, it's not good. You're not putting on great shows like you can. You have great professional wrestlers. Great professional wrestlers equals great wrestling. It does not equal a great show. It's not equal great promos, great segments, great gimmicks, great nothing. And that's fine. If that's what you're here for, trust me, I'm here for it too. But that's not all I'm here for when I watch professional wrestling. I just think this company, the veil has been dropped. I'm not saying I'm the first person to said it, but I said it 2.5 years ago before we got our songs featured on the video game. I said it before when we were having trouble getting paid from Tiger Style and getting all of that. I said it before. This is long due. We just squashed our issues in the past. People then in AEW were like, why are we working with this guy? Oh, because I hold you accountable for doing the bullshit that you do. Other people will be quiet about it or talk about it amongst each other and then just take being fucked over. We not from that. I'm not from the same area you from. I'm not from the same blocks you from. You're not from blocks anyway. I'm from a block. If you fuck with us or you fuck with our money, you fuck with anything, we either gonna come to see you or we gonna make sure you get help from us for that. And I've tried to be as professional as possible in private and try to like, hey guys, let's work this out. It's never happened. It's probably not going to happen. If I get my restitution, it's going to come from a much different form, and a form you guys respect. A form you guys respect. As a matter of fact, it's a segue in that. Make sure you check out DAR Stories, and make sure you check out the Holloman firm for good long-term childhood friend of mine, Black lawyer Justin Holloman. He is amazing. He works with people who do not have the funds to obviously afford lawyers. He is not a public defender. He will fight for you. Had to throw that in there just for a second. But my whole point is, AEW, you guys have talented wrestlers. I'm super excited for Swerve versus Will Ospreay as a match, which we'll segue into actual wrestling. I'm excited for Tony versus Mina. So excited for that. Excited to see Mercedes get to wrestle. I'm excited for so many things wrestling wise. I'm tired of this Buck shit. This Buck shit is not working for me. This Jericho shit is not working. There's a lot of things that's not working. But you know what doesn't work for me? You guys painting yourselves as the moral compass of professional wrestling, and nothing you do fits that.
Just think about that, man. This is all this moral compass, and we're all family, and this and that, and then this dude's sitting here talking about how we're gonna have to go through the legal fucking system to get pennies relative to what they give everybody else. It would have been so easy just to pay the dude what he was owed. Now this is going to end in a cold fucking courtroom. Oh, but I'm sure that family and we're the moral compass and this, that, and the third. What the fuck?
I'm sure once it goes that route, though, it'll all get cleared up before we even get that far, because that's what you got to do. As two people who've threatened that before, and they personally told me, and I've seen official paperwork that this is what led to them getting what they want. And it's like, hey, if this is what I got to do, then I'll do what I got to do. I don't want to do it that way. Like I said, I have friends that work in AEW, people I consider friends, people who probably don't consider me a friend anymore, but I consider them a friend. And you see that you get close.
It's fucking easy to not consider you a friend when they're on the inside eating up all the porridge next to the fire, like playing with toys, the old fucking, those old cartoons.
There are people.
Yeah, when you're in there, all the new toys on Christmas morning. When you're on the inside having a good old fucking time, I don't consider that guy a friend anymore. It's easy for you to fucking say.
That's crazy. And then people will try to be like, well, I was given I heard somebody say, I was given new information. I said, new information about what? I said, you don't even know how the structure works. You don't even know how it works. I had a conversation with several people who work for the company, very closely to the owner of the company, and it was like, well, they gave me new information. I said, no, they told you this happened, but they didn't tell you what that was for. I said, if you think that's all that somebody's owed, I said, y'all don't know how the music business works. I get it. Y'all don't work in the music business. Y'all haven't worked in the wrestling business. I was like, I can tell you all of it works. And at the end of the day, regardless of how it works, you should take care and compensate people that are supposed to be like a part of your family, if that's how you want to go. Because I can tell you right now, there's a certain person that was gone for 6 months from AEW. He came back, and the first person they hired is his girlfriend. And I mean, it's like, damn, you give your girlfriend a job, you got your girlfriend, you get his girlfriend a job. There's people, hell, I know a really good, I don't say really good, but a very popular woman who entered AEW, and next thing you know, her brother's hired, and he's getting a 6-figure plus salary. So it's like, you're looking at people like you take care of people's families, right? You take care of people's families. You know, the one thing everybody kept saying for like months was like, why don't we just put you on the payroll, and then that way you can like do songs with them, and like you can do this and you can do that, you can do marketing, you can do promotion, like you do all these things. You like the jobs I'm looking for right now, my personal life, all stem from a lot of like, like social media campaigns, marketing, advertising, because I have a lot of background in that. I reached out to them, AW, like a year or two ago about that, and they were like, oh, okay, we'll think about it. It's because they see you as an artist. They treat you like you're just an artist, because they don't want to see you for more than what they want to use you for. You have no use to them as an advertising marketing guy, because they sorely need advertising and marketing help and social media help. Sorely need that on top of being an artist. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool, You can see, like I said, the ratings are up a little bit for them, because obviously they're not going against the competition of the NBA. But they still have yet to crack 800,000 again, and I'm sure they may crack it this week. But it's like the momentum is not really there. I just want to say shout out to Swerve. I think Swerve is a great wrestler, great champion. I wish he was presented as feeling even more important than he is right now. That's my main gripe. But once again, this is weekend wrestling. This is not just weekend True God and Eric's world with a bunch of fucking losers and dweebs and
I
wrestling
was
in the
gonna say
wrestling
real
world.
quick before we go to the wrestling part of weekend wrestling. After all this, Cash Wheeler, you're a real one. Don't do any more silly
Shout out
stuff.
to Cash.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Cash.
shout out to Cash, man. Real one right there. Shout out to Ricky Starks too. You want to say shout out to Ricky Starks? Real guy.
Always. We
Always.
we end every episode with shout out to Ricky Starks.
Shout out to
Dave
Collision
Garcia,
producer
shout
Chris
out to the
Hero.
judge.
Yeah.
Shout out to the judge. Shout out to Megan Bain. Yeah.
Oh, big shout out to Megan Bain. Megan Bain's a real one too. I can't elaborate on why on here, but she's a real one. She's a real one.
So yeah, you were talking about the number is going up. That's good. It's a good thing. I don't know if the shows have been particularly better, but a climb is not. Like I said last time, you can't get to 750 till you get to 720. Can't get to 8 till you get to 790. Get closer to 8. I think the 8s is for the time being, maybe for this year, probably should be the standard goal. I mean, obviously you want to get up closer to 1 million, but I think 8s is nothing that nobody's gonna. It's not like a panic button situation if they're in the 8s regularly. So we gotta hope things keep going with that way. It's good that that's happening while Swerve is starting to be featured a little bit more appropriately as the champion. Anything you're looking forward to obviously Mina, Tony, big time looking forward to that.
I love that story. I love that story.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Everybody involved
in so many ways.
Outside of the obvious, they're segments that do not hurt the eyes. But also
I love the way you word you put that together, because
everybody
I would have said it different.
Hey, I mean, like we said about the WNBA, every female fan out there, I do not begrudge you one bit from finding, liking the male wrestlers somewhat partially based on how attractive you find them. I don't begrudge you that at all. That's part of what
it's
this
nothing
game is
wrong.
about. It's literally part of the package of professional wrestling. And those
or any entertainment.
Those levels of attraction can come from anywhere, from anybody. It ain't just one body, right? It's people's charisma. It's people's. Some people find different body types attractive. Like, it doesn't necessarily got to all be right, but it just so happens all the ladies involved in that situation are, So all of them excellent in the ring. All of them excellent behind the mic. All of them excellent on camera. It's been a fantastic segment, week in and week out. A real bright spot. Super excited for that match, Forbidden Door.
Absolutely.
Anything else that you're looking forward to?
I think the ladder match for the which is wild. Last time we did a show, Adam Copeland was TNT champion, and he was, and now he's injured and out for God knows how long, which is at his age too. Like, that's another thing. Like, it's not like he's like 25, 30 going through an early injury. That's a long road back for anybody. And I think it was a really dumb idea to do it the way he did it. I would have much preferred if he just went for a splash, but obviously he mistimed his jump, and it didn't work the way he wanted to. Maybe didn't get a lot of elevation. So it sucks. I think Adam Copeland was doing a great job with like his open challenges and having these different matches. I absolutely love that for him. But I'll say the ladder match for the vacant TNT championship, so far, I think it's like Takeshita and Mark Briscoe, and then they got like a couple other people that they're putting in there. Takeshita should win this, in my opinion. I don't know who else is going to be in there, but unless Ricky Starks is in this, which there's a possibility for that.
Fairly unlikely.
No, I think there's a possibility. I think there's a possibility for it, but I think that might be one of the last times we see him on TV, if that is the case. But
not one of the last times we see him on TV. One of the last times
on TNT or TV,
TNT.
So, he might, but no, I think if regardless of who's really in it, though, I think Takeshita should win it. Takeshita is someone who has been struggling for direction, and he deserves to be given a lot more. He's a great professional wrestler. They saddled him with Don Callis, and it just hasn't worked out. It seems like the Canadian family over there in AEW has a way to saddle down their professional wrestlers a little bit. You know, Don Callis family did nothing for Hobbs. It did nothing for Takeshita. It's done nothing for Kyle Fletcher really either. So I think Takeshita should break out and be on his own. The same way I feel like, like looking at the card for Forbidden Door, there's only a couple matches so far announced. Yeah. But I think in some way it's a good thing, I think it's a good thing because it keeps the fans guessing. You want to tune in to find out what's going to be next. But the matches that they have so far, I mean, you got Mercedes, winner takes all match for her, which I think we kind of assume obviously she's probably winning that match and getting both belts, getting basically her belt back.
It's going to be fucking fire. That is the number one that I'm looking forward to. I've been, I don't want to say obsessed, fascinated with this Stephanie from.
She's great. She's awesome.
Phenomenal worker, phenomenal look. Phenomenal fucking everything. I'm so fucking excited for this. I'm so fucking excited they're showing vignettes. They're showing videos about her on Dynamite to get people more acquainted because
they are doing it right.
Fucking rock. Which, by the way, speaking of fucking rock, quick shout out retrospectively. Willow and Mercedes tore the fucking house down. It's exactly what the fuck they needed because we had talked about a lot of those segments leading up to that had been a goddamn train wreck. They finally got her where she needs to be, back in the fucking ring, and that match was excellent. Really tore it up. And I expect, so it looks like Mercedes, non-WWE Mercedes is a fucking animal in that fucking ring, man. And this match is
the greatest.
Fucking shred. It's going to be fucking phenomenal. I'm fucking excited.
No, I'm looking for, like this is the change that we were asking for months ago with the women's division, where Toni Storm is an amazing character. The top two champions. It is kind of funny that the top two champions are former WWE ladies in AEW. It's kind of funny a little bit, considering they have so much quote unquote homegrown talent. But Toni Storm is doing a phenomenal job as champion with the Mina and Mariah May story, and then Mercedes in AEW is off to a good start match wise. She's not off to a great start segment promo wise, but I don't think any of us expected her to be turn into 2011 CM Punk on the microphone, or or 2018 Becky Lynch. I don't think we even expect her to be like that. And so I think that's kind of that's her strong suit has always been professional wrestling and getting in the ring and wrestling. So her and Stephanie, I think they're gonna tear the house down. And I think that's what AEW needs to get people excited again, is to just put together these stories and these great wrestlers. In the women's division have two strong personalities, two strong characters, and two great professional wrestlers at the top right now. And you need that. Mariah May has grown, in just her short time on American television. She is knocking this shit out the fucking park. You know what I'm saying? And then Mercedes, like I said, her segments, And you still got Willow in the wings with Chris Statlander. So there's maybe something that happens with that hidden in the Forbidden Door, or the collision prior to it. I don't know what the plan is with that, but I just think everything they're doing with the ladies right now, match wise, is exciting. It's exciting. It makes you want to, tune in for those matches. Maybe not for everything else, but tune in for those matches and pay attention to what they're doing. I know the big conversation of Forbidden Door is it the right time for the Ospreay Swerve match?
I was gonna talk to you about that off air. I want to wait. I want to wait a little bit. Maybe next time we can show up to discuss that. Because I got some questions and some inferences. Well, don't worry, everybody listening. We'll talk about it. You're gonna hear. We'll get to it. You're gonna hear plenty about it in the coming weeks.
I'll say one thing. I'll say one thing about it. I want to say one thing about it. I think. How can I work? I think the writing's on the wall for a number of things, and if I had to guess, the feud that AEW looks at as their next CM Punk / MJF style, Kenny Omega / Adam Page style feud is MJF versus Will Ospreay for a world championship. I would be extremely shocked if Swerve lost it at Forbidden Door, but the writing's on the wall. Every time you lose a championship, in AEW, you kind of take a back seat. So that's all I'll say.
Speaking of things we're not going to talk about, listeners might be wondering. We're not going to really talk about the Becky Lynch thing because we know things and aren't at liberty to talk about them.
Yeah, she ain't going nowhere, man. She ain't going nowhere, man.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Real quick, 'cause I know we're coming up on time. What are you looking forward to? Anything at Clash? Oh, I did want to say the other day too. A lot of people filled up their diapers about Saraya going over Mariah the other night. I think it's pretty obvious that they're positioning Saraya to go after Tony at All In. Like you guys forget, the AEW's Mega Show is just around the corner. So this year, it looks like, thankfully, instead of what they did last year, they're going to start planting seeds, months out to kind of develop these stories in these matches, which I think we should all be excited about. So everybody just fucking relax. Like booking 101. Clash of the Castle. Any thoughts? Any excitement?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I have absolutely no fucking idea what's going on.
Checked out a little bit on WWE. Things kind of got a little more mundane.
It's just I'm looking it up now because I saw a couple. I see it. So I'm gonna say this about WWE. I was not interested like that. We started this week in wrestling. It was the Collider commune.
We never talked about fucking WWE.
Yeah. Now I will say this. I think the Cody and AJ Styles thing, I think it's interesting. I think it's funny. I think it's interesting. Here's what
terrible.
Here's why I say it's interesting. I was getting there. I think it's interesting because I could give two shits about them having a I Quit match. Like, that's what we're doing. That's it. I Quit match. I just think Cody and AJ, I'm being honest, Cody as champion is cool. I was never sold on him as champion. I think he's been a decent champion, but it's not something I was gonna watch anyway. So, but I think it's just I think they're just holding off obviously to SummerSlam. I think they're gonna pull the trigger on something. I don't know what they're pulling the trigger on.
Fucking. How is the guy who remember AJ Styles' WrestleMania match?
Yeah.
How is the guy who won that match still? It looks like he might be building towards something, but still, as of now,
United States champ,
fucking around. Whereas AJ Styles lost that match, got a title, got put in a position to get a title shot, lost the title shot, and is now getting another title shot. Like, god damn it, man! It's
the WWE is very lazy.
Kind of a fucking mess, man.
The WWE is very lazy when it comes to booking the shows that don't really matter, and Clash of the Castle is gonna.
Right, we had that built in. Like, hey, we said that Saudi show, it's a bunch of bullshit, anyways. This is how it goes. Like, but then you don't gotta fucking double down on those mistakes when you had a half-ass excuse for them, or the 3 weeks after WrestleMania, we're putting on a super show in France. You had these excuses, but now you're doubling down on those things and trying to make them keep. I just don't know why this has to keep going. You have so many wrestlers, you have so many people. Maybe like this could have been a spot maybe for a fucking Solo to try and take revenge and fully stake his claim as the new leader of the. You know what I mean? Like you could have worked that storyline in. You could have, instead of giving a guy who's lost more than he's won lately, including a title shot, more title shots. Just
and then the Mark Henry fake out. The Mark Henry fake out. It was like it's just
lame,
cheesy.
man.
Like it's just cheesy. I'll say this:
a pale imitation to the
the
greatest.
the only reason why they're having this Clash at the Castle, obviously, is to crown Drew McIntyre, or screw Drew, and build to the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match, which is going to be happening much sooner than later. CM Punk is on his way back. He is probably at this point like
looking
80,
jacked.
He's like 80-90% ready to go.
Call me a mark if you want. It's cool. I genuinely do think that McIntyre should win. And this should be
absolutely.
This should be because it's funny because it's like his thing, his character. I deserve this and I deserve that, and I didn't get this. But like, the reason he's a good villain and all good villains is because there's some truth to it, and I fucking agree. Like, you should win the belt in front of people in this fucking situation. Like, yes, and I like
they didn't do it like the last time they had the chance. So
yeah, I think he should. I think he should win that belt. I think he's one of the best things going in wrestling right now. I think he deserves that as accolades in this home area for everything he's fucking done and how fucking good he's been. I do. I agree, and I think that should happen. And then him against CM Punk is going to be fucking awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, I hope that does.
But I think it's interesting that WWE takes a bit of a dive quality wise when CM Punk is hurt. The Rock is gone. It's like, this is why I think that there's some merit to the criticism of like WWE is about stars and star power. Drew McIntyre, like Seth Rollins is gone, Roman Reigns gone. So your biggest draw, like, in Becky Lynch is now taking a hiatus. So a lot of your big draws and like all the people who people tune in to see are not there. And as much as I know people love Cody, like, Cody's only as good as the person that's across from him. And AJ Styles is a great wrestler, but AJ Styles, who's been on a continuing losing streak, it's not something you want to see. And we all know it's just waiting. Now, when Gunther gets his shot at whoever he gets his shot at, I'm tuned in for that. I can't wait. I want to see that. I don't think Jey Uso's not even on the card, which is like kind of surprising, I think, because he's one of the more over guys. I know Sami Zayn and Chad Gable, they should have a fucking classic match in the castle. The storyline is whatever, but the match itself is going to be great. I think Damian Priest
has he of this recording. Has he resigned? I think he's a free agent this weekend. Yeah. He's a free agent this weekend. Hold on.
I thought they said his contract was supposed to end at the beginning of the month, but if Chad Gable wins this match, which I actually think he might, I believe that shows
he is still unsigned. But I think it expires next weekend, next Friday, so right before Clash of the Castle.
Which I think the WWE's doing this thing where they're silently getting people to resign, verbally agreeing, and then getting the paperwork drawn up, and then they'll announce it. I think Triple H wants to do this thing where Chad Gable wins, they do like a scrum or whatever post-show stuff after, and he's like, "We signed Chad Gable for another 3 or 4 years, and I'm glad to have him," and some shit like that. That's what he wants to do, and I get it because it makes more headlines that way. If you do it on a major show. Yeah.
I said it on Twitter when they were talking about how long it's taken to get him resigned, if that is really what's happening.
I don't think that's what's happening, personally.
If it is, good. Because he should make them pay for every fucking day of bullshit he had to deal with when he first came up. You had this amazing ready-made team, this amazing ready-made star, and he's out there being fucking Shorty G. I know you probably deleted that from your fucking mind, the Men in Black neuralizer, but I fucking remember all that stupid shit he had to do when he first came up. Retroactively, make them pay for that shit. Same thing. Part of that too is kind of like what we talked about with Mercedes. You, with your contract, you almost build certain levels of booking into it with the money, because You ain't gonna give me no. You're not gonna make me Shorty G if you're paying me, $2 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Like the money forces them to give you a certain level of seriousness and attention in your fucking booking going forwards, and that's indirectly it gives you that somewhat of a figurative assurance, and I think that's part of what is making these negotiations tough.
Yeah, I the WWE has a tendency to try to get people, squared away very, very early in the process. But the last guy that worked for them, I have definitely heard, like everybody else, that he was a bit of a dunce, just a little bit of it when it comes to handling that. And it is what it is. Like I said, Drew McIntyre signed back, and if Seth Rollins signed back, and if I'm Chad Gable, I'm getting this push, and I have an opportunity to win the Intercontinental Championship. Triple H values Chad Gable very much, and so do many of the people in the backstage area. I think, do I want to sign back, get an Intercontinental Championship run, continue going, or do I want to go over to here to this place where I'll probably make a lot of money, but I'll be flavor of the month for a couple weeks, and then I'm on Rampage every other week, or if that, or end up like other wrestlers who we shall not name, or you can go there and get over and barely get TV time, or keep getting these restart, stop and start, restop, stop and start pushes like my guy DG. So that's it's a tough thing. I think if I'm a free agent with a lot of options and a lot of power, I think if WWE is investing in me already, I'm going to stick with who's investing in me already, and just make them pay me a little bit more. Pay up, just pay up. I you don't want to leave. You love the people you work with. Pay up, and But I'll say my only other thought is that Damian Priest as champion does not work for me, and it's not engaging enough, because the most engaging story involving the Judgment Day is Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan, which I have, he Dirty Dom is his illegitimate father to a T right now in gimmick form. He's Eddie Guerrero in 2000 completely, and I think it's hilarious. And I hated Dom at one point when he had, before he got the mullet and the mustache, and he's cutting these heel promos. I was like, man, this dude's good. Like he's improved, and I think that's a sign of hard work. That's one thing I respect about Dominic Mysterio. He worked his ass off to get better, to find his lane. He's great as a heel. As a face, I never want to see him as a face again, personally. But I think as a heel, he's great because he has a hateable face. He has a face you can hate, and he just his whole shtick is just like, God, this guy's such a jackass. But like, it's entertaining, and
I mean,
great. He's got a great life, man. You get to get kissed by Liv Morgan on TV. You got Rhea Ripley being your girlfriend, and like he's living the fucking dream. So great for Dominic Mysterio. I'm glad he's coming to his own. But Damian Priest, I don't have anything against him. I think the briefcase, when he won it, it was a smart decision at that time, but he held it for so long. His momentum was really, and it's not like he's going out there and having like 5-star matches also. So it's tough. And then obviously without Rhea being there, the whole Judgment Day aura, as the kids say, kind of it's gone down a little bit. Finn Balor's usually mailing it in to me most times. And so I think Drew McIntyre should be the champion. Drew McIntyre is the best thing going on Raw, in my opinion. And without, especially without Rock and CM Punk and Seth and all those other guys there, I think Drew McIntyre is easily the best thing about it. And he's been cutting great promos, and you have to prepare for CM Punk's return. And I guess that's the only thing that confuses me, right? Because, but I guess here's the interesting part of this. Gunther has a title shot for his respective brand's title, but I wonder, is there like any way he could just decide to go for a different title? Could he talk to someone? Because I think there's a path where you could do a Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, and do Cody versus Gunther.
And Cody versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Yeah.
And that would be great. Now, I know the thought process was that Randy versus Cody was also on the table, which I like. it's cool for the evolution and
Yeah, I
evolution
mean, like I
of
said,
the.
it's legacy.
I was thinking about. I was like, no, the other Randy group.
I it it just feels like too easy. I don't know, like lazy. Like, I
Very
mean, yes,
lazy.
there is a story there, sure, but does anybody think Randy Orton's winning the fucking belt off Cody fucking Rhodes after everything
No.
we just fucking went through? Like, no, he's fucking not. Like, I want to see it. It's cut. Like, but okay, like I just don't. I don't know. That doesn't do anything for me. I want matches where I'm put into some sort of conflict, like what you just named, Gunther and Cody. Now that is interesting because Gunther's so protected. He's lost fucking one match in 2 years, 3 years.
One.
That is interesting to me. That is something where they could take you on a roller coaster ride. Like, holy shit, is this really going to happen? So, I agree. I think it's all laid out right in front of them. LA Knight, Logan Paul, we've been talking about this on this very show for 6 months now.
And it's finally happening. Finally.
Perfect.
Should have happened at Mania, but it's all good.
Perfect. Cody Gunther, that intrigue. That's the only person that I can think of at this juncture, at this time frame, who I would actually have some sort of be put into some sort of conflict of who I thought would win. And then Punk, Drew, because that also comes with Drew getting his moment in front of the hometown crowd.
Yep.
At Clash of the Castle.
All works out.
All things that I think are completely right and good. You talked about sticking with people who invest in you. And we appreciate all of our listeners investing in us, tuning into this here show. Again, we're going to put it up as much as we can, deal with the outsideness of not every wrestling podcast. We're doing our best here, folks. For a couple more weeks, we are still on United Football Media YouTube page, putting up a recap show of the UFL. We got UFL playoffs actually starting here in about 30 minutes from recording this show. So we'll be back on Monday, back and better than ever to cover this Final Four playoff situation of the UFL for the UFM YouTube page. Also, stay tuned to our page. We're still posting basketball. We're deep in the finals. WNBA news is busting its way into our basketball podcast. Probably going to do it again this week because of what's been happening this weekend as far as Caitlin Clark, the Olympic team, her game starting to pick up, starting to get better and better. So that will be interesting. And just a few weeks away, really 6 weeks about till NFL training camps. So football will be back. We're also planning on doing some NBA draft breakdowns with a real live scout, with a real live scouting service, Ken Moore, Shock Sports. He will be joining us. Go over the NBA draft and the draft prospects coming up. All that and more. Tons of articles going up on DAR Medium site all the time. So read those as well when you're not listening to us on the YouTube. Please subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you get these videos first. Get us those views up. Get us those subscribers up. We appreciate everybody who's riding with us now because things are going to turn around sooner than later. We won't forget. As you can hear from all that stuff and the fact we can barely get together enough to put together a wrestling pod, the world of DAR never stops.